What's up guys, this is Miasin and welcome to the OCG metagame breakdown number 2. It's not the biggest one, it only covers 146 top performing decks from 31 tournaments during the span of 4 days. I can't believe I managed to say it this fast like I'm doing a rap battle. And yeah, usually the other breakdowns they have, 200, 185 decks, so it's a bigger sample size, but this is still something worth looking into. I still think it's relatively accurate, and obviously I'm, slightly biased. And when there's Blue Eyes as the #1 best deck, you already know I'm about to be super happy and satisfied with whatever is in front of me. Anyways, before we go any further, a friendly reminder, of course, to smash the like and subscribe button. It is the only way I can keep breathing and honestly just keep existing in this universe, so you already know what to do. And also, a self-little shout out for my own CRYSTRON spreadsheet, which is doing super well. So again, I really thank you guys for checking it out. And if you haven't already, I really recommend you to, because if you like CRYSTRON, if you're interested in CRYSTRON, and even if you want to just know how to beat CRYSTRON, my spreadsheet is perfect for you. It has 50 combos, it has all the information that you need, and just in case you've never really heard the promo before, here it is. I'm proud to announce that after countless hours of work, my CRYSTRON spreadsheet and guide is finally complete and ready to go, and trust me when I say it's a nice one. For only $20 USD, you'll have access to a beautiful, high-quality, and user-friendly spreadsheet containing a whopping 50 combos, which include uninterrupted combos and also playing through handshaps including Ash, Imperm, every single Molchemy monster, Dimension Shifter, and even Artifact Lancia. These combos also come with relevant information about them, which will help you identify their strengths and weaknesses, and also when they're more optimal than others. The spreadsheet also comes with an optimized deck list containing my reasoning behind every single card and ratio in the deck, which will help you understand the cards you truly need to build a deck so that you don't make unnecessary purchases. You will also find sighting patterns done easy for 15 decks in the metagame so that you can save yourself the headache before a tournament and during your rounds. I've also included alternative texts and engines to play in CRYSTRON, as well as their strengths and weaknesses. Purchasing the spreadsheet will also give you access to my CRYSTRON Discord server, where I plan on bouncing back ideas with everyone on it, and where I can answer specific questions on the deck which can help everyone on it. Finally, once the spreadsheet hits 100 sales, I will do a giveaway where I'll be handing out diverse prizes, such as, for example, a sought-after secret rare, cash money, or a free coaching session with me. I'll be honest with you, everyone who got to check the spreadsheet so far was beyond satisfied, so I genuinely recommend spending the $20 on it. If anything, you'll actually be saving much more than $20 in time, since I've invested over 100 hours understanding the deck, working on the combos, and building the sheet. And you'll even be saving actual money by knowing exactly what to get for your CRYSTRON deck and avoid buying cards you just don't need. If you're interested in the spreadsheet, all you have to do is PayPal me $20 US, and make sure to state your Gmail account in the transfer so that I know who to share the spreadsheet with. If you forget to state your Gmail in the transfer, don't worry, just email me a proof of payment with your Gmail, and I'll share the spreadsheet with you as soon as I can. Unless I'm sleeping, I should never take too long to grant you access to the spreadsheet, so don't worry about the delay. The specs of the spreadsheet alongside all the steps to buy it are at the top of the description, so please check it out as soon as you can. Anyways, with that said, let's get on with the video. Absolutely beautiful. Anyways, let's get right into the video. So Prime and Blue Eyes #1 best deck, obviously, but not by a long shot, because Malice is right behind with 30 out of 146, so that's a 20.5% representation. So there's only a gap of 1.4%, but just for the sake of this video, I'm gonna say that Blue Eyes best deck. Actually, I'm not really capping when I'm saying Blue Eyes best deck. Kind of is, at least for now. #3 best deck is Orchist. The Fiendsmith build, I think, is the best one. A lot of people are also choosing to play pure Orchist, which I think is not necessarily bad. There's also other engines that you can play in Orchist to do well. There's the Azamina, there's the Punk engine that is also very good for Zombie Vampire access. There's the Horse engine, also gives you access to Zombie Vampire. On the other hand, Raziel, nobody in the OCG really tries to be creative with it. I've only seen like the Shark and Magistus engine and stuff, but I haven't really seen Fiendsmith Raziel, or obviously, Mitsurugi Raziel doesn't exist because that's a TCG exclusive. But yeah, it's always pure Raziel, super boring, and it's always going to be obviously among the top decks, but it is no longer in the top 3. Now it's just stabilizing itself as the 4th best deck in the OCG, followed obviously by other decks like Gem Knight, Memento, CRYSTRON, etc. CRYSTRON is really a good deck, by the way. Anyways, Gem Knight, which is a deck that exists in the OCG but not in the TCG because they have Log Dragon and they have Brilliant Fusion. And Brilliant Fusion, again, it's completely cracked because they don't have to send Garnet. They can send real cards, and it's in their own deck, so obviously it's broken. Memento, yeah, okay, yeah, that's another really good deck that we also see in the TCG every now and then. Fiendsmith, Azamina, White Forest, obviously, alright, the new support is insane. And by the way, this is pre-Alliance Insight, so don't go thinking that this is the White Forest deck with, all the new cards. Obviously not, we still have to wait a bit. Snake Eye, whatever, this deck does not exist, who cares? Atlantean, yeah, another good deck, and obviously it got a huge buff because Abyss Dweller is now banned in the OCG. CRYSTRON, really believe in it. It's a deck that I've invested hundreds of hours on, so I understand the true power of this deck. Tenpai Dragon, yeah, another good deck. Labyrinth, Horus, Gimmick Puppet. This deck is actually gaining a lot in popularity. I keep seeing, you know, matches with the deck in the OCG. Fiendsmith, Azamina Chimera, interesting. Bestial Dragon Maid. Oh, huge fall from grace. This deck is now doing as well as I expected to. Okay, Fiendsmith Hubel, Rika, Magician, Lyrilusk, Magnet. What is this? Huh? Vernalis, Adamancipator, Magnet Warrior? Okay, and Voice's Voice, which is actually a really bad performance from the deck. It used to be like so much better. Like here, it was at the very least in like the top 5 or something. Okay, not really. Actually, yeah, that was also last place. Never mind. Okay, you know what? Forget that I said anything. Anyways, Blue Eyes. Okay, so what is interesting about this deck list? So we're seeing a lot of hand shops, obviously. I'm gonna say a random number and say 15 hand shops. 3, 6, 9, 11, 14, 17. Never mind, I lied. Okay, so set 17 hand shops, which is nice. And there's also, what, 15 starters? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. There we go. Okay, yeah, so 15 starters, 17 hand shops, and then a couple of bad cards, quote unquote. There's the Ultimate Fusion, which I really recommend not playing. This card should be Pot of Prosperity instead. And then the extra deck space, yeah, that's honestly really tight. There's Nibiru in the main deck, which means that you can main deck, you can play Lina, the Light Charmer, and even if your hand is garbage, you can make a Lina, crash on the Nibiru token, search your Maiden of White, and then discard it, get your True Light. So you can draw like a really garbage hand and still play the game. So that's something that I think is really nice. Going second, the Blue Eyes deck is fantastic. Top-notch deck. I really recommend looking into it. But yeah, Blue Eyes is a deck that is now main decking the Bestials because they're really good against Orcus, and cards like Velar Imperm, those cards are not too great. The side deck is like extremely anti-Orcus and anti-Malice at the exact same time, whereas the Bestials are obviously completely useless against Malice. You can argue that the Bestials are also not too bad against Raziel because, you know, you can always Bestial the Twins of the Eclipse, and then you can crash the Jewess Worm and then send the Detonator to the graveyard, so that's not too bad. But yeah, overall, this is a really balanced deck. It doesn't really make like super unbreakable boards, but it's still a really good deck. So yeah, no complaints, honestly. I've been testing Blue Eyes a lot, and it's really a great deck. It will be fantastic in the TCG when we're going to be getting it. Anyways, Malice now. Okay, so this deck is very similar to the deck that I showcased a few months ago in my all the combos that you need to know about Malice, the big video, the spreadsheet. So I played 3 Cheshire Cat, I played a huge amount of Bestial monsters. Some people were kind of confused, they were like, yeah, you're playing way too many cats, or you're playing way too many Bestials. But now people are starting to understand that it actually makes sense, because it gives you just extra layers of push, because the Bestials, they double down as hand shops, but also as extenders. So I really do think that they're just good cards to play in Malice in general. Even Saronir, even like the shit Bestials, at the very least, they're still Bestial monsters, so they're still good. But yeah, this deck plays like 20-something non-engine. It's absurd. 2, 5, 8, 10, 13, 15, 17, 18, 21. Holy god. And also, friendly reminder that even like a really bad hand, like let's say Cheshire Cat and Saronir, is still full combo. It's absolutely cracked. And your combo obviously is kind of like Exodia. It's really good. And by the way, there is now Nightmare Cerberus in the extra deck because it can be an out to Chaos Hunter. So keep that in mind if you're in the TCG and people are hitting you with Chaos Hunter. You don't necessarily need to draw like Book of Eclipse or Widow Anchor if you want to out it. You can inherently out it with Nightmare Cerberus, so that's really scary. So if you have like, I don't know, like a Dormouse and a Bestial, for example, that already allows you to pretty much pop off through Chaos Hunter. That's nice. By the way, notice that the side decks, I think all of them have like 9 cards in common, so like 3 Phantasme, 3 Lancia, and then the Furos if possible, if they're not already in the main deck. And then we also see sometimes the Solemns or some going first cards or back removal, Duster, Heavy Storm. Here, there's no back removal because Blue Eyes is already extremely good into back row decks, obviously, right? So you don't really need Duster because what is Labyrinth, for example, going to do against Blue Eyes? Absolutely nothing. Yeah, and also you get to play Bestials and... oh my god, when you're recurring back your Primate cards over and over, Labyrinth is the least of your worries. It's an unlosable matchup for this deck. Anything that grinds will always lose against Blue Eyes, honestly, because, again, another barrel being able to recycle itself back over and over. And by the way, I will make a video on this card right here very soon, because it's actually very interesting in the TCG. It's been mistranslated, and because of that, the deck is actually going to be a little different. Yeah, anyways, Orchest is the final deck in the top 3. And yeah, it plays a huge amount of hand shops, huh? And most of them are cards that make you draw or prevent drawing. So Fuaros, Nihilus, Maxi, Droll, and then Ash. No Veiler, no Imperm. That was mentioned because those cards are terrible against both Malice and Orchest. If you Veiler Dormouse and then your opponent has a Bestiole, you lose the game. It does nothing because now your opponent makes the Lingrabo, summon the Bestiole, and then revive back the Malice, and then make... Link Decoder instead, and then make the Red Ransom, and then pop off, and then that's as if your Veiler did nothing. You're basically just hand looping yourself. Yeah, those small hand shops are really garbage against Malice, and Ash is like particularly bad. But yeah, this deck kind of has some consistency issues, so I am not like the biggest fan of Orchest at the current moment, just because we still have to like come up with the most optimal build. But I think people in the OCG, they started understanding that Fiendsmith Tract and Luri, not the best, because it adds a lot of bricks to your deck. Like, Luri is a terrible card to draw because it takes up your normal summon if you do draw it. Because you want to use your normal summon on a Harpoor, Skeleton, or a Gearsu. So that's obviously not ideal. So I guess they're just playing the two Fiendsmith monsters as kind of like semi-Takatumborgs. Like, you don't want to draw them, but, you know, they still allow your end board to be infinitely better. And yeah, there's, yeah, how many hand shops? 5, 8, 10, 13, okay, 13 hand shops. And only 6 one-card combos, so Gearsu and Harpoor. And then everything else is like, yeah, you need multiple cards. Oh, actually, and Foolish Burial, obviously. But yeah, for the most part, you need like a 2-card combo in order to play. So either Orchest Nightmare and either a Skeleton or Witch or Deception, etc. or Wanted, that would allow you to play. I don't know. Yeah, there's no Curious, no Millennium Engine. I think in the TCG, people will be playing the Millennium Engine with Curious if Curious gets unbanned. But in the OCG, they have access to that, and they still don't do it. Very interesting side deck with 3 Artifact Sanctum. This is actually my first time seeing it, and also this is my first time seeing Imperm in the side deck. Not the kind of thing you see every day. Usually people will either main deck or don't play this card at all. Your side deck, you want to play extremely unfair cards. You don't want to play a fair card like Imperm, quote-unquote. You want to play a card that if you draw it, you kind of just win the game, at the very least against like one matchup. So I do find it very strange to see Imperm in the side, but I'm not going to criticize it too much. Everything else, I mean, I understand the reasoning behind every single decision. Prosperity is an extra consistency card when you're going first. That also makes sense with the floodgates, you know. So you can side out the 3 Bestials when you go first, and then you bring in these 3 cards. Malice, obviously going first, there is a Solemn Strike that you can play instead of, I don't even know, could be Allure of Darkness so that you lose a little less to Artifact Lancia. Could be a bunch of things. You could also side out some Bestials if they're useless against your opponent's deck. You can side out like 1 or 2 Saroniers just because it's the worst one. Orchest, it's really just a deck that, in my eyes, feels a little messy at the current moment. It doesn't really feel like it makes sense. It feels like there's a lot of cards that just aren't productive enough on their own. Just because, again, there's no Foolish Burial goods, so that's one less one-card combo. I don't know, there's no Armageddon Knight, no Dark Greffer, because you can't rely on them as your normal summon, since you want your normal summon to really be an Orchest monster so that you can make the Galatea Eye Link 1, because that card is super broken. With that being said, if you get ashed on your Mech Knight Orchest Gearsu, you really don't care. You can still make a huge board through Ash, so that's kind of crazy. And also Harpoor, if you get ashed on the Harpoor, at least you still have your Galatea Eye and you can still play from it. So yeah, again, Ash, Imperm, Veiler, literally do nothing, but Bestials are decent. Shifter is decent, Artifact Lancia is decent against this deck. But yeah, in conclusion, this is a format where people are expecting, you know, Orchest, Malice, and Blue Eyes to be the top tier decks. Raziel is really phasing out, so we're seeing the same cards in order to beat them. So Fantastical Dragon, Phantasmic, Chaos Hunter, Artifact Lancia, etc. And it's also the reason why we're seeing little, slightly less Veilers and Imperms with other hand shops as well, instead. So, you know, the Molchamis, the Trolls, the Maxis, the Ash, etc. That's all I had for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And let me know how you feel about the OCG format in the comment section below. I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.